Alright, how's it going everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Hamii here for you guys today. I haven't really been able to post too much as of recently because I kind of injured my finger. I don't really know what happened, to be exact. It was something really strange. I was just like kind of like adjusting my shorts and stuff like that, and then like all of a sudden my finger just popped. I don't know if like I pulled something, had my finger in the wrong place and everything like that, but I haven't really been able to edit videos as much because I can't really use a keyboard with this thing on my finger. I gotta keep it on for the most part because it's not supposed to be bending or anything like that. So I'm gonna do my best to try to edit this video. If it comes out a little sloppy, I apologize. Hopefully my finger gets better here soon. Looking at probably like 2 weeks worth of recovery time with this thing. This video is pretty much gonna be explaining to you guys the best settings for your controller and everything like that on the PS5 or PS4, whatever one you're using, and everything like that inside of Season 2 for Cold War. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over into Black Ops Cold War so we can go ahead and show you guys all of my settings so you guys can use them in Black Ops Cold War. So I'll see you guys in the game here in a second. Alright, like I said, this is going to be the PS5 settings, so this is pretty much going to be your go-to and everything like that. I am running 120 Hertz on my current monitor, and if you guys are interested in my monitor that you want to purchase so you guys can get 120 Hertz for yourselves on PS5, I will put a link down in the description below for the monitor that you guys can pick it up. I think it's around $350 like that, and I know the stimulus checks just hit everybody's account, so if you guys are looking to spend a pretty penny on a monitor that'll give you 120 Hertz guaranteed, go ahead and make sure you guys pick up this monitor because it is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm very happy that I made this purchase. But getting started here, we're going to be using a controller, PS5 controller over here on the right side. Most important thing here, we're going to be looking at our horizontal and vertical stick sensitivities. Pretty much just running 8. I have not changed this in a very long time. The last time I messed around with this was when I was playing League, kind of turned it down to be more or less trying to like counteract the pros and stuff like that. A lot of pro players like to run 4.4 sensitivity, 5.5 sensitivity. They've been doing that for a long time. Just helps keep your shots on and everything like that, and there's no sporadic movements and stuff, so the most part you would definitely just run like those lower sensitivity. But since I'm a public match player, I don't play too much comp and I don't do any wagers or anything like that, I run 8.8. It's pretty much the most practical for me. So comfortable with this, I literally just have like aim lock at this point. It's kind of crazy how good I've gotten with the 8.8 sensitivity. ADS low zoom and high zoom, I keep these both at 1. Sometimes I mess around with my high zoom and put it on like 1.2 or 1.5 for my quick scope drag scopes and everything like that. I don't run around with snipers too often anymore, so I don't really mess around with this that much. Every now and again I will swap it to 1.2, 1.5. It does help when you're trying to do drag shots and stuff like that, and that's pretty much how I've sniped ever since I started quick scoping, like way back in Modern Warfare 2. I pretty much just use drag scoping as the advantage there. Always thought it to be easier to do that with the higher sensitivity, like 1.2 or 1.5 for the multiplier and everything like that. Button layout, we're running default, no tactical, jumper, bumper. Running a default flip though, so we got that classic Call of Duty PS3 feel. Back in the day, PS3, every game on Call of Duty that was on PS3, you'd shoot with the L1 and R1. For some reason, when they got to new gens, well, old gens now, with the PS4s, they swapped it to L2 and R2. Don't play with any inverted look. I know a lot of people have played with this or do play with this still. Aim response curve is linear. Now, here's a pretty important one because this is going to be your every single gunfight. This is going to matter. So, like, we're sitting here with the linear, so our aim stick maps directly to aim rate. The aim stick curve is the same as the aim rate. So that means like everything is just moving at the same speed. There's no slowdown and everything like that. Dynamic would mean like the S-curve map is a fine aim control. That means like the faster you move the stick, the more it's gonna like flick kind of. It's like aim acceleration almost. If you guys have ever messed around with aim acceleration or mouse acceleration. Linear is pretty much what we've had in every single Call of Duty for the most part up until recently. Like 2 years ago, they started changing stuff around and gave us all these extra settings and everything like that. So linear is definitely what you guys want to try out because it's pretty much what we've been having for almost the entire life cycle of Call of Duty at this point. Controller vibration, I have that enabled, but it's disabled by default by my PS5. So I mean, it's pretty much disabled anyways. It's just enabled on this. Trigger effect for the PS5. Now this is something that only the PS5s have. This is something that is like reactive and everything like that. Depending on what weapon you're using, your triggers will actually like give you resistance and stuff like that. Pretty much pointless if you guys are trying to get your kills and everything like that as fast as you can and fastest reaction time and everything like that. You guys don't want any delay when it comes to stuff like that, so I wouldn't recommend using that unless you're trying to play a campaign and get like a realistic feeling or something like that. Go ahead and skip over that last setting there because it's controller vibration. Don't really need that for anything. So we're going to be looking at the gameplay now. This is also pretty important stuff for the most part here. First one, these first couple settings here are pretty important. So sitting here in our first setting, we got target aim assist. This is pretty much your aim assist in the game. Now, if you guys are some cracked out controller players that play Rainbow Six, you guys probably won't want aim assist on, but everybody else that runs and guns and everything like that and normal controller shooters, you guys want aim assist on. If you don't run aim assist, you are literally putting a handicap on yourself. Target aim assist mode. Now, this is really complicated. I haven't felt that I needed to change this from standard. Traditional aim slowdown with linear stacked is pretty much the best go-to. All of these extra ones are like pretty much, I've explained what they do. Legacy is alternate aim slowdown on your target. This aim assist type is the default for Call of Duty Warzone, so that kind of makes it feel like Warzone if you guys want to play like that. Strong aim slowdown that only kicks you when aiming closer to the target, best for accurate player precision. That, guys, if you make like micro adjustments and stuff like that, but you need a really good controller that doesn't have any stick drift for that. Focusing, strong aim assist slowdown that also kicks you when narrowly missing targets, best for players new to stick aiming. It's a cheesy way to play, dude. I wouldn't recommend using that unless you guys need it absolutely, then go for it by all means. But if you guys just played shooters and stuff like that before, don't be running that setting. There's no reason to use that. Just run standard. ADS aim assist. This is pretty much the campaign zombies aim assist where you just ADS and it snaps on target. Don't really need that for anything unless you're playing that and you want a casual experience and you don't really feel like aiming and everything like that. You guys can go ahead and enable that. I have it disabled for right now just because I don't play any of those modes. Airborne mantle behavior. Now this one can get kind of tricky, especially when it comes down to it. You can actually put this on manual or automatic. I have it on manual, and sometimes I like to put it on the second press or the first press. Automatic will basically automatically mantle you on objects that are just by you. So if you're standing next to like a crate, your body will automatically climb over that crate. It's probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Why would you want that to happen? Like, you could be in the middle of a gunfight walking towards like a box or something, and the next thing you know, you're on ADS and you're jumping over a box. That's why I put it on manual, and then I also have it on second press sometimes, because when I'm doing jump shots, I automatically mantle over objects if they're to my left or my right, which doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how your character could jump over something that's like 6 foot tall with one hand that's completely to the side of them. Don't understand why that mechanic is still in the game, and I don't know how that hasn't gotten patched. Is what it is, I guess, and that's pretty much what we got for our ground mantle behavior. I just have it on one press. Sometimes I put it on two if I get annoyed by that happening, but it doesn't happen all too often. Moving on here, we got aim down the sights behavior. I just have that on hold so I don't have to toggle. That's going to be pretty much your go-to. You don't want to really keep that toggled because then you have to constantly press that over and over again. Steady aim behavior. Now this is pretty much where you hold your breath aiming down the sights with a sniper and you want to center your shot. You know, you can toggle that too. But like I said, you just want to keep those on hold. I'm not going to get into any of this attack, vehicle mode, or armor behavior. I don't play those. I don't play that Fire Team Dirty Bomb game mode, so none of those apply to me. All right, so moving down here to advanced. These are pretty specific settings here. Now, these are going to apply to you guys differently. I'm running the default stick layout. I've never used anything like that. I know a couple people that played on Legacy Southpaw, Legacy Southpaw Flipped, and all that. They're absolutely cracked, man. Like, I don't understand how they do that. Here we got the left stick minimum threshold of 2. That's pretty much where the minimum amount of movement is enabled, so my controller doesn't like automatically keep me running when I'm not holding it. Max threshold, you want to keep that 100, so you have every bit of movement that you can, or every single movement of the joystick that you can. Stick minimum input, I have it on 3. That's pretty much the smallest I can get it without it stick drifting too hard, but it's still allowing me to have the micro aim adjustment that I can without it floating all over the place. And as well as the right stick max input, I have that as 100 as well, so I have the maximum input that I can have. No controller sounds, and I do not have auto movement forward on as well, but I do have auto sprint on because there's something wrong with the PS5 controllers. I don't know what it is with the L3 button on these controllers, but for some reason they don't work correctly, and depending on what the update is that we get that day for the Call of Duty, if there's an update, sometimes I won't even be able to use my sprint button at all. It won't even register. I know there's a lawsuit going on with the PS5 controllers specifically because of the analogs, but I haven't had any issues as of late. They kind of patched it, I guess. They did like a stealth patch or something, and now it works fine. I just keep it on auto sprint, saves my controller's life. And you guys should definitely put on auto sprint too if you guys are comfortable with using that setting, because it definitely helps your life out with your controller, so you can keep it longer without buying a new one. Moving along here to sprint cancels reload, I have this disabled because I do YYs and cancel animations, everything like that I do by using claw. Yeah, that's pretty much what I run for my sprint cancel reload. And then for parachute, auto deploy, and equipment behavior, I just have those on the default settings, whatever they were when I first loaded up the game for the first time. I haven't messed around with those ever since I've gotten them. Prioritizing reload and stuff like this is pretty much going to be that Warzone type feel where you tap square to pick up things and everything like that. But then if you have to reload and there's something on the ground, you will actually reload before you pick up something on the ground. Stuff like that. That's pretty intuitive. You guys can mess around with that, and whatever feels comfortable for you is something you guys can pick out for yourselves. Now, graphics here, I have my safe bound areas pretty much as small as possible. You guys would definitely should be able to do that too. And I get a lot of questions about this colorblind setting. I don't understand how people are still asking questions about this. I don't know if you guys have done this yet, but you guys can click on colorblind modes and you can select what colors you want anybody to be on the map. I currently don't have a colorblind setting enabled, but I do have custom colors set up. So right now I'm running a pink arrow. My teammates are green. the enemies are yellow and my party members are blue. So yeah, I don't know why nobody has realized that you can do this yet. A lot of people are still asking me every day, like, are you colorblind, Hamii? Why are you using those settings? It's just pretty much customization at this point. You guys can do that whatever you want. So yeah, if you guys didn't know about that, there you go. Guys can check that out. For my brightness here, I have it set on right about 53. Now this is going to be personal preference. This just matters what your monitor settings are as well, or your TV settings, whatever you're playing on. Currently don't have ray tracing on because I'm running 120 hertz refresh rate, and that is specifically because of my monitor supports it, as well as my 4K 60 Pro that I recently upgraded to. If you guys are looking for a good setup to run streaming wise and everything like that, but you want to keep your 120 hertz refresh rate, drop a comment down below and I will try my best to help you out with all of that, because I know it's a very intuitive process and it took me a very long time, and with help with other people I finally got it all situated where I can have 120 hertz and stream at the same time. I don't have any sort of split screen preferences here. I just have that on default for horizontal. Doesn't really matter to me. Now running for gameplay, we have field of view at 105. I get a lot of questions about this as well. I do not recommend playing at 120 field of view, just for the fact that it pushes the enemy so far away, especially with how bad the Raider skins are and everything like that. The character models inside of this game, they're very, very slim and hard to see. I feel like having a very high field of view makes you get kind of nerfed in a sense where you can't really see your enemies that well. So I have mine set about 105. It helps me out a great amount when I can still get that field of view advantage, as well as being able to still see my enemies. So I think that's a perfect median right there. You guys should definitely try that out. You guys also want to keep your affected ADS field of view on, because if you don't, it's just going to push everything farther away, like I said, and it pretty much messes everything up. So it's pretty good to keep that on. Make sure you have that on. And also motion blur, get rid of that completely, man. I don't know who uses motion blur or why you use it. It absolutely makes me sick when I see it. I don't understand why this is a setting in most modern games. I don't know what the context is and why it's still there, but I don't see a reason for this at all. If I wanted motion blur, man, I would go spin around in a circle like 30 times. Now audio right here, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this. This is all personal preference stuff. You guys can run pretty much anything that makes it good to you. I have a lot of random settings here because I have my Astro mix amp and everything like that plugged in, and all of that stuff is controlled through there. I don't really mess around with these settings too much, so that's why all my numbers are pretty random and stuff like that. That's all just personal preference. For my interface, I have subtitles disabled and everything else is pretty much showing. I don't have ally health bar shown or anything like that. I don't feel like it's important. I do have the enemy health bars though. That is a pretty good thing to have there. Pretty much just go-to stuff right there. Nothing too crazy. You guys can just copy and paste that. I don't really have to talk about that. Pretty self-explanatory stuff right there. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much wraps up the entire video on my settings for season 2. Pretty much the same as my settings from season 1, but I figured people would like to see an update if they can. I have a couple new things here and there and a couple things flip-flop. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you drop a subscribe down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. And if you liked the video, go ahead and drop a like as well. It helps out greatly. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys with this. I hope you guys use some of these settings and they help you out with your gameplays and everything like that. Pretty much all I got for you guys. I hope you guys have a good one. I'll catch you later. Peace out.